Hey, how are you? So I am still on vacation this week, but I wanted to just record a little video for you so that you know I was still thinking about you. Um, I want to talk about catastrophizing. I always have trouble saying that word, but I think I got it right. Catastrophizing, otherwise known as catastrophic thinking. So this is a term from psychology that is, and you go down a rabbit hole, right? So for us as writers, it might be if I publish this memoir, the people in my life are going to react really badly, and I will lose all of my friendships, right? Or if I publish this memoir, my family's going to be really mad at me and I will damage my family relationships. If I publish this novel, people are going to attack me for it because it's got a kind of political viewpoint or it's got some characters in it that are diverse. And so I'm going to be attacked publicly, right? And then what happens with catastrophic thinking is we go down a little imaginary rabbit hole where we're not just attacked, we're doxxed and, nasty people are sending, I don't know, pizzas to our house. You can send pizza to my house anytime. I'm fine with it. But, it's like people find out our address and they do nasty things, right? And we begin to really just really, really worry. And a fundamental need of human beings, all human beings, is connection and belonging. And so anything that threatens us socially, our brain recognizes as a pain, right? As a possible pain. And so it wants to avoid that. And so it can really shut down our writing because we think, wow, I don't want to find myself alone with no family support. So I better not finish this memoir and put it out there. I don't want to be attacked online and be having to justify myself to complete strangers and people saying mean things about me, right? I'm going to feel rejected. I'm going to feel scared. And so I better not finish this novel. That's how this gets in our way. And our brain does this because it does something called predictive processing. So the brain is always trying to figure out what's going to happen next, right? It's your brain is basically scanning the world, trying to identify threats and keep you alive. And so predictive processing is where your brain is using a small little bit of info, even imagined info, right? Because we don't know that our memoir is going to cause our family to decide they don't want to have Thanksgiving with us, but we've decided it could be a thing. And so the brain is using that. And so it uses a small piece of information like my mother doesn't come off so well in this memoir, or, um, this um, diverse set of characters in my novel is really going to piss off all the wrong people and it's going to get me in trouble. And that thought, then the brain is trying to say, well, if that's true, let's go down that rabbit hole fully. Let's really explore this in great detail. And that's the catastrophic thinking. And it's linked to anxiety and depression. You're not surprised, right? And as someone who has struggled in the past with both anxiety and depression, catastrophic thinking was basically how I lived my life in my teens and 20s. Anytime any small thing happened, I could turn it into, and I will be alone and homeless. I don't know why I'm always homeless, but like I have one of those little grocery carts and everything I belong is in it. And that's my fear, right? I'm alone and I'm homeless. And at the time, anything like if anything went wrong at work, gonna be alone and homeless, right? That's catastrophic thinking, and it really does a number on us psychologically. And when it comes to finishing a book, I not everybody does catastrophic thinking. I'll just say that, but many of us do, and we don't even notice it. So that's when you start to worry that the book will come out, I'll get a bad review in a major newspaper, and my writing career will be over. The book will come out, and people are going to say mean things about me behind my back, my colleagues, my friends, so on, right? That equals social rejection, which, if you even think about social rejection, there's parts of your brains that light up acknowledging that pain. So, catastrophic thinking happens to a lot of us, and it can shut us down. So, I just want you to monitor your thoughts for this, just for the next week. Anytime that little bit of catastrophic thinking happens, I'll publish this book, no one will read it. Not a single living person on the planet will read it. You're wrong. I'm going to read it. I will read your book. There's one person. There will be others. So I feel that you're wrong. But I totally also, as a writer, understand that feeling of I'm going to publish this and no one will read it. Or people will read it and they will hate it. And then they will say mean things about the book, about me, and so on. Whatever your version is, right? I'm worried that when I put out my memoir, I'm going to be sued. I'm worried that if I publish this book of nonfiction, all of my former colleagues are going to basically think, who does she think she is? Right? And they'll be saying things about me behind my back. Whatever your version of that is, I just want you to notice it. I just want you to notice that it's happening. And then I want you to think about how can you change, um, how can you change that catastrophic thought into something more positive? So anytime we think something negative could happen, it hasn't happened yet, right? So the brain is doing its predicting. It's like, oh, this could happen. I could be doxxed. Somebody could release my address online and people could send me like hate mail and stuff. Okay, let's think about that. It hasn't happened. I know it hasn't happened because you haven't finished the book. It's not out in the world yet, right? So it hasn't happened. Anytime we imagine a negative outcome, we must allow for the possibility, the equal possibility that something positive could happen. What if you publish the book and people read it and they love it? Sure, maybe there's a couple people who don't love it, but most of the feedback you get from readers are like, wow, this is great. When's your next book coming out? Or I really needed that book right now. I'm going through the same thing that you went through in your memoir, and I just really needed to know I wasn't alone. Or your book of nonfiction met me exactly where I was with and provided me a solution, and I'm so grateful. What if that happens? That is equally as possible because it's all abstract and none of it has happened anyway. So, what I want you to do is I want you to notice the nature of the thought that comes up for you. What is it, the thing you really like, you worry, and then you go down the little worry rabbit hole, and you like your imagination, because you have an amazing imagination because you're a writer, you create this big, horrible, catastrophic thing, right? The situation. Take that and understand that that is something your brain just naturally does because it's doing its predictive processing thing. But then I also want you to sit down, close your eyes, take a few deep breaths. few deep breaths. And now I want you to imagine, what is the best possible thing that could happen? Or what is a positive thing that might also happen when my book is finished and out into the world? And I want you to imagine it with all of the sensory detail that you can. I want you to imagine that you're in a coffee shop having a cappuccino and you open your phone, and on your social media, somebody's saying, "Oh my God, I finished your book last night. I could not put it down." Okay. I want you to imagine the phone in your hand. I want you to imagine the smell of the coffee, the sound of people around you. Full sensory detail for whatever you are imagining will happen. It's good to do this kind of exercise on the regular because it doesn't stick, because our brain is a predictive processing machine that mostly is dealing with negative thoughts all of the time. And so the antidote needs to be applied liberally, right? Needs to be, it's not like a one and done kind of thing. So just for this week, I want you to think about, what is your catastrophe? Where do you go when you think about the worst when it comes to your book and your writing? And what is a possible positive thing that could also happen? And think about it in great sensory detail. Close your eyes, deep breaths, and just visualize that whole experience. Okay? All right. I hope this has been helpful. Do the actual exercise, do the thing. Don't just listen to the video, do the thing. Take a minute now. It'll take you 2 or 3 minutes just to visualize something positive happening when you finish your book and get it out into the world. And I will see you next week when I'm back from vacation. Okay, so I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.